Hey, it's Nay. And welcome back to Nay's Little Garden and Home. I'm gonna prep y'all from right now. Grab you a drink and a snack. We're gonna be here for a good time, but also a long time. We're gonna talk tomatoes. I went and ordered from two separate companies. One I've never ordered from before, and the other one I have in fact ordered from before. Did I need to? That's up for you to decide. We're going to have some fun conversation, a little bit of intense conversation, and this is just me being real with you. So, grab you a drink, grab you a snack. I'm a matcha body, so I made myself some matcha this morning. It's so good. And those seed packets came in, and I have everything already labeled up and ready to be started. I am definitely at minimum starting 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 seed, 11 different varieties, but I have two more cells that I could put something else in. But I didn't buy all of these seeds with the thought process of starting them right now. So keep all of that in mind. I'm going to explain why and where my head is at with this. So, first up, these are now definitely out of my wheelhouse in terms of the number of varieties I had originally told you guys I was going to start. I am now breaking that and I'm adding a couple more varieties. The why. These are primarily dwarf tomatoes or micro dwarf tomatoes. I do want to attempt to see how these work, how well they can work. I told you guys in another video that the green stalk, I kept trying to fill the green stalk with different stuff, and come to find out I just have almost an entire green stalk empty. But I feel like the way I'm going with trying to put these bigger tomatoes, even like the determinate ones, they're just going to be big. So I'd rather put them towards the bottom and do micro dwarf tomatoes towards the top, and then hopefully everything should be able to grow pretty well. We were out in the garden this past weekend. Guys, I have in my little winter what's it called, the jugs, the winter sowing that method I did. Of course, some of them wouldn't have popped up because I planted some tomatoes, and a couple other things haven't popped up yet, but we do have some pop up for, I believe, two separate of the jugs, which was very exciting to see because I really didn't expect to see anything. I just haven't looked in them in a while, so I was like, let me go ahead. It has been on and off raining. It's one of those things where I think it is really telling that spring is coming. When you're getting a lot of rain, then some sunshine, then rain, then sunshine, and you're having that in the same day, that's definitely for me in my climate letting me know spring is on the horizon. She's here. Well, she's really officially here. So I went, and this is where it gets mildly heavy, but I think that it's okay to live in the real world and still be whimsy. It's okay to live in the real world and still also be realistic while being whimsy. I love a cute garden. I actually saw someone make a little arch, uh, and it had nothing to do with plants. She just wanted a cute arch, and I like it a lot. And she spent $45 or $50, and I'm like, girl, I'm gonna have to do that for my little thing to go into my backyard. I'm I want my property to be a safe space. And when I say safe space, I mean that for a multitude of different things. For my mental health, for my physical health as well as my family's mental health and physical health. We live on a quarter acre of land in total, which means I'm growing on a little bit less than an eighth of an acre. With that being said, every year I take up more and more of my backyard. At some point, my backyard is going to be basically a garden oasis. We're going to have basically no grass. It's going to be beautiful and wondrous and very exciting. That is a work in progress. I'm giving myself, if we haven't moved, right? This is also not our forever home as of right now. We're intending to move, but if we end up not being able to move due to the way things are going, we can definitely work with this. This is workable even with children. They can still have a good time and still have a good life, and I can still have my garden oasis. I'm saying all this to say things are looking scary, things are looking rough, things are looking like they're going to get worse and scarier and more rough. So I went ahead and made these couple purchases of these tomatoes and peppers and things of this nature, because just in case some things are a little more difficult or significantly more expensive come the end of the year into next year for seed buying time, if I don't see anything that, if I'm like, this price is too insane, I don't even have to stress it, because not only do I have older seeds, I also have newer seeds, right, within a year, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Oh, I do want to say I ordered sweet potato slips as well as potatoes. I did not order the purple potatoes. Guys, I planted out purple potatoes last year and I got a decent harvest of a bunch of like fingerling purple potatoes. I barely used it. I really think it's important. Of course, we want beauty in our garden, but we also needed to be realistic. Did my family want to be eating purple potatoes, especially after you cook them? It's not that same very beautiful purple. It's almost slightly grayish when you cooked it. I have to just be realistic. So for something like potatoes, I don't need it to be beautiful. I just need it to be potatoes that we will consume. So I ordered regular basic potatoes. We'll talk about them when they come here. I should have honestly ordered them in February so I could have been chitting them this month, but it's fine. It's not the end of the world. I will, hopefully they come to me by this week and I can chit them within a week or two and then plant those out. Even if they only have small eyes. That's all I really need on them, and I'll keep it moving. So sweet potato slips, regular potatoes, my onions shipped, which makes sense. I think when I order my onion starts, I think I always like add bump it up a week or two before they say, oh, like, oh, I think I only did like a week, because I think they're gonna get here at the end of this week, if not beginning of next, and that's the end of March, right? So I can hold on to them to put them literally in the last week of March, or if they come here next week, I can hold on to them and plant them out in the beginning of April. Either way, they can handle some cold for sure. And we really, our last frost day is still a month and a half away, but we really don't get any crazy frosts around this time. We really don't, right? So whatever little bits that's gonna come, I think the onions are gonna be just fine. Let's get into these tomato varieties, and we're gonna keep talking about why it might be important to just buy an extra packet or two if you can afford it. Things are insane. Guys, I had a half a tank and I spent almost $50 filling my tank the other day at half a tank. That is the highest price I've ever used to fill my tank, and that scared me a pinch. When gas prices go up, everything else, a lot of other things, go up with it. This is not me trying to incite fear in anyone. If you're a grown adult and you do not like to hear real life things, and you use that as a means to say you're just trying to make me afraid, I need you to look into why you have that thought process and why hearing the truth automatically scares you. Gas prices are high. Food is still not cheap. And times are rough. And we are in a situation that I feel like the majority of us didn't ask to be in. Tomatoes, peppers, onions, garlic, beans, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots. Oh my gosh, carrots. See, there's some things that you can't buy in massive bulk because they just don't store very well, like carrots, beets, but you can do what you gotta do, right? You can order, and then don't forget, you have a fall, right? So in the beginning of August, you might have to rip out a couple tomato plants, even though they technically can give you one more flush, right? To plant out your carrots. So by time they pop up, it's giving end of August, right? Mid-August, whatever, and then they start growing. And by the time they're really in their full growing, you've already started cooling down. You have to do that math for yourself, because also remember, we're going down with less sunlight. So even if they say it's 70 days to harvest for carrots, just be like, it's more like 85 days. This way you're more realistic. So you want to start them 85 days before your before your first frost. This way you're just more likely to get a harvest. And even you can leave them in the ground and catch that first frost to sweeten them up, and then pull them out, and then you can do what you need to do to store them. Gardening is fun. It's whimsy. it's joyous, but it's also life sustaining. Now, when it comes to like meat, I don't have enough property to be growing, a bunch of birds to in order to store mad birds in my freezer, and I definitely don't have no space for like cows and stock like that to be then getting them butchered to then store that as well. I don't have all of that, but I can do produce. I can do vegetables, fruits, stuff of that nature, and I'm moving accordingly. So I've been talking. The place I have already ordered from is Victory Seeds. So I ordered another situation, Victory Seeds. I like Victory Seeds because Victory Seeds seems to be one of the best places for me right now that offers the Dwarf Tomato Project tomatoes. If you don't have a lot of property or the thought of a 7 foot, 6 foot tall tomato plant sends you into a spiral, dwarf tomatoes are great. Because just because it says dwarf doesn't mean it's still not going to give you a good harvest. And it doesn't mean that it's only going to grow 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. Dwarf just means smaller. And it really depends. And then they have semi-determinate, semi-indeterminate. Like there's so many different variations of tomato that could be really useful for you. And if you're sitting here like, what is gardener's obsessions with tomato? So many things can be used for a tomato base, guys. Okay, tomatoes themselves raw, sure, great with a little mozzarella, a little basil, great, delicious. Tomato sauce, pizza sauce, ketchup, barbecue sauce, tomato paste. There are a many things you can use tomatoes to season and flavor your different dishes. That is just very useful to you. The first thing, I'm going to go over the ones I am not starting this year, but I bought because I'm interested in it. And I do have my laptop here, so I'm going to try to pull up some of the pictures as well so you can see, because Victory Seeds does not show you a picture. The first one is the Sweet Scarlet Dwarf. It's 90 days, so this is a late tomato. Vigorous dwarf rugose potato leaf plants produce a heavy yield of 6 to 16 ounce oblate smooth red fruits, delivering a superb, intense, complex flavor. It's a red tomato. It's a red tomato that looked like she did what she was supposed to do. This is what she's looking like, right? Nothing amazing, nothing crazy. When times start getting a little crazy, do you want to have all of the only really interesting tomatoes and only interesting varieties? I'm not so sure about that, because I would think, sometimes knowing what you're gonna get and how good it could be is the best course of action. So I went with that. And this next one is that similar thought process. Like, just give me a good slicing red tomato. It's the Abraham Lincoln, the Abe Lincoln. I've heard from a bunch of different gardeners on YouTube that at the end of the day, there seems to be a few strains of this. So some of them are really big, some of them are not that big. So you kind of have to go and try them from different brands until you get the one that you like. I just went with Victory Seeds. This is another long day. It's 90 days indeterminate. This is an indeterminate, so she's gonna get big. I'm not starting her this year. I'm gonna save it for next year. Good yields of solid, fresh, dark red, good flavored, medium-sized fruit that average about 8 ounces. When you think of things like sandwiches and sauces and all of that. So this is what it's looking like. Just a nice red tomato. That's it. That's all. Nothing crazy. The last one that I'm not growing this year from Victory Seeds that I ordered was the Dwarf Johnson's Cherry. I love me a good cherry tomato. I just think they're really good to snack on, and I like to have different varieties and see which ones work best for me. This is a shorter day. This is 65 days. It is a dwarf tomato. The Rugose regular leaf potatoes are early maturing and very prolific. The small cherry type fruit are pink in color, pleasantly flavored, perfect for those who grow in containers or small spaces. I almost bought the Sakura tomato from Johnny's. Who knows what next year is going to hold? But I went ahead and got this instead, and it's a dwarf version, and it just looks like a really good cherry tomato. Another, it's just red, a small red tomato. I feel like I've showed you guys a lot of very interesting tomato varieties this year, and I want to show you that you don't have to sit there and think you need to go and do wild stuff, and then what if you don't like it? That's not what I'm about. I just like to also try new things. We're gonna do the ones that I am starting um, this year from. I'm about to start now. I have them here. The video is getting long, so I'm probably not going to just seed them with you guys, but I'm starting them today. This is the Venus tomato. This is a determinate tomato, 65 days to maturity. This is a micro dwarf tomato, growing only 6 to 12 inches tall, depending on container size and growing conditions. The plants do benefit from staking, as the fruits will weigh down the vines. The producing clusters of fruits up to half an ounce, much larger than most micro varieties, which is why they say they benefit from staking. I really want to try with these micro dwarf tomatoes, because at the end of the day, if I needed to grow some tomatoes, and I might mess around and do this come September, right? I have a bunch of tomatoes in the freezer, that's great and dandy, but then let's say for Thanksgiving, I want to put fresh tomatoes out. I would have to then plot that 65 days and I start them in September, I'm going to have fresh tomatoes for Thanksgiving. You get what I'm saying? So these are all things you want. And I already have my grow tent. I have my little lighting situation. But this is not a red tomato. This is looking like an orangey yellow tomato. And they're just small, 6 to 12 ounces. Most people can grow that in their house. If you have any type of good sunlight streaming in, you could grow stuff over there. You could also, guys, you can get like for $20 to $40 pretty cheap lights to also help with the growing situation. The next one is Rosy Finch. I'm kind of excited about this. I heard someone talking about it and he was mighty impressed with the flavor of this Rosy Finch. The Rosy Finch is also a micro dwarf tomato. This is a red tomato, 55 days to harvest. This is quite quick. When it comes to gardening, quick, fast is giving about a month to 2 months. That's about as fast as you're going to get for most things. And so you do have to do planning when it comes to gardening. Rosy Finch is a small but mighty micro tomato that packs a punch of flavor in every bite. This miniature version of the heirloom tomato variety is perfect for snacking, adding to salads, as using as garnish for your favorite dishes. It's a deep pink skin with a vibrant flesh, so it's sweet and tangy, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. Look at how small that little thing is. Like, this is giving, you can get the 3-gallon grow bags and grow a bunch of these. Like, that's amazing to me. I'm very excited to start this. The other one that really caught my interest as well, I don't think I saw anyone talking about this, but when I was reading about it, I was like, listen, it is the micro dwarf tomato bonsai. This also seemed interesting. This is 65 days, another pretty quick one. But this is somehow micro dwarf, but semi-determinate. How do they do this? It's very small, compact plant that maxes out at about 12 inches tall, which makes it easy to grow in containers, under lights, on a windowsill, or on the patio. I have bought peppers that are like the windowsill collection. This and that growing together could grow you peppers and tomatoes in your home or in your green stalk. You could buy one green stalk and have 30 different plants you can plant into, right? And do 10 peppers, 10 tomatoes, 5 onions, 5 garlic, and you have good seasoning. I'm just saying, like, these are things that you could really figure out and be like, how can I make this work to grow what I needed to grow? This is definitely like a orange looking tomato. They say this is their second most productive micro dwarf tomato. The Laura number 5 being their most productive. They have harvested 4 large metal bowls, over 100 fruit per harvest, full of fruit from the 50 plants they grew during the 2025 growing season. That's actually very intense and very awesome, because it's a micro dwarf. I was like, I have to grow this. The next one is the dwarf Vince Hayes. This is getting into a little interesting. It's 76 days, so it's a little longer. It's Ruco's potato leaf plants. They're productive, medium to large, oblate-shaped purple-colored fruits. Average between 5 to 10 ounces. This is not a micro dwarf. This is a regular dwarf. Dwarfs can still get 4 to 5 feet tall. They say it provides an intense, delicious, well-balanced flavor. This is looking like it's a red tomato, but also kind of purpley. So I'm going to show you. It's a bigger tomato, but it's still in the dwarf situation. So they're saying this reaches 4 to 5 feet tall, like I said. So that's that. I'm kind of excited about this as well, um, because you get a little bit more color than just a red tomato. The next one is a Dwarf Beauty King. This one is 75 days, very productive, rugose, regular leaf, dwarf type plant. Fruits are medium sized, oblate shape, smooth skin, and red in color with vertical gold striping. Truly beautiful. As an added bonus to their beauty, they offer a rich, balanced flavor. Part of this reason why I ordered this was for the look. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think these little gold stripes, I don't even know if you're gonna see them so well with this, but they just have a cute little gold striping in them that is nice, and they say it tastes good. So I was like, why not? The next one is the little Napoli F1. Don't worry, there's only one more after this from this brand. This brand, Napoli. So this is an F1. This is 60 to 65 days to harvest. Perfect for containers. This tomato grows 12 inches to 24 inches tall and 24 inches to 36 inches across. It's a great performer and extremely prolific, and will have flushes of fruit to use fresh in salads or cooked. This also looks very small, and it's just a red tomato. It's a little Napoli. So this is a like a Roma type. 2 to 2.5 ounce fruits are meaty, which makes them perfect for sauces, ketchup, and dried. I'm definitely interested in some sun-dried tomatoes. We'll see if I can manage to make some of those myself. But the fact that this is a very small tomato, like a micro dwarf tomato that you could use to make tomato sauces, like an easier tomato sauce, because the tomato is more of like meaty, is why I bought it and why I'm gonna try to grow them. The last one here is the Fred's tie dye. I bought this one 80% for the look of it, and the rest of the percentage because it's actually a decent size, sort of. So this is 75 days. Rugose, regular leaf dwarf plants. They're vigorous and productive with fruits that are medium size, which is just 5 to 6 ounces, which is not big at all. Round purple with jagged gold and green stripes and the deep crimson flesh of black tomatoes. Has a rich, intense, balanced flavor. Guys, I'm going to show you this tomato. It almost looks artificial. Like what I'm looking at, I'm like, is this a real picture? Which is also the main reasons I'm buying this. I intend to have like little deck gatherings with my friends, maybe some family. And this is something I would love to put out with some mozzarella that I'll make a farmer's cheese, whatever, and my homegrown basil. Just look at this. Can you see that? That's ethereal. Ethereal. And it says a rich, intense, balanced flavor. I would love to cook this up with some chicken. You know what I mean? Onions, in potatoes, and a little bit of carrots, like a little stew. This just sounds absolutely delectable. So that is from Victory Seeds. I'm very excited. The new company I've never ordered on. If you're wondering, I spent $46. I round up a little 50 cents, but $46 for all of those. So if you're sitting there like I get $50 in the for Christmas, or to buy seeds, you can buy half of those and then half pepper plants, pepper seeds, and then some carrot seeds, and maybe one or two whatever else you eat, and spend about $50. Eat like pretty good. The price is around $4.45 was most of those seeds. There was like one or two for $3.45, $3.68. But just know that these packets are almost $5 because most of the ones I ordered are dwarf to micro dwarf tomatoes. So they're specialty tomatoes. Okay, let's talk about Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. I've heard about this company a lot. Okay, so I was like, I just need to order from them. I need to see what they're on about. And so these are the ones I will not be growing this year, but I wanted to have in my collection just in case. So the first one is a geranium kiss. I heard someone talking about this that I really like, their channel. It's 68 days. Another main reason why I ordered from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange and why I ordered these specifically, every single one of these packets have 90% plus germination rate, which is very high and very impressive. They don't have pictures. Saving the past for the future. Love that. 68 days, a dwarf indeterminate. How? That's quite amazing to me. Massive clusters of 1/2 to 4 ounce red fruits with pointed blossom ends, borne high on stocky 1.5 to 4 foot plants. A great container variety. That sounds insane to me. Does that sound insane to no one else? Like, it can get 1.5 foot, right? If you're growing like maybe like a 5-gallon grow bag, or it can get to 4 foot. Let's say you're growing in a 20-gallon grow bag. That's a lot of freaking tomatoes, and it's late blight resistant. I'm very excited. I'm very excited about this. What else I kind of liked about this is I feel like the amount of seeds that they were claiming you're gonna get was on the higher end. Very excited. I'm gonna try not to stick too much, but that's a geranium. That has 91%. The next, let me just show you. It's a red tomato, but I just think a 1/2 inch to a 1/2 ounce to 4 ounces is not too shabby. You know, that was like a saladette type of size. Like, I'm impressed. The next one is Sophie's Choice. This is a bigger tomato, 55 days determinate tomato. It's an heirloom as well. Now, you really could save the seed. I'm gonna make a whole video talking about this as well, but you really could save the seeds from anything. You're gonna probably especially like a tomato or pepper. It's probably like 95% certain gonna be an edible plant, like fruit from coming off of it. It just might not be the exact one you want. This is an heirloom though, so you can most definitely save these seeds and most definitely get the same exact plant. Highly productive, flavorful, large-fruited, ripens ahead of all other extra early varieties in our trials. Unlike other extra early varieties, the fruits are flavorful and large, averaging 6 to 8 ounces. That's a good size. And weighing up to 12 ounces. So in order typically to get the bigger tomatoes, you want to cut some of their branches that come out to grow extra tomatoes so that it'll put more energy into less tomatoes, so you'll get bigger tomatoes. Large fruits with orange-red exteriors and deep red interiors on small plants only 18 to 24 inches tall. Quality is best in cooler climates. Does not handle heat or drought well. So this would be a tomato that, let's say I'm like, I need fruits sooner than later next year. I would start these and I would plant these out the day of my last frost. I'm only going to plant out some the day of my last frost because you never know what can happen. But I would plant at least the day of my last frost. And if necessary, I'll have like a little cover to throw over them if there is a frost. So that's Sophie's Choice. Nothing magical, just a regular tomato. The next one, the last one that I'm not going to grow this year from this brand is Neptune's, I'm about to say Harvest, but it's just Neptune. This is another just red tomato. 67 days, determinate. And early to mid-season fresh market tomatoes, specially bred for heat tolerance and resistance to bacterial wilt, which is prevalent in the southeast and Florida. I bought this even though I'm technically not in like a crazy humid or crazy heat spot because we just jump zones, everybody basically, right? So if things happen, I wanted to have a tomato that I could, in the heat of the summer when it's really hot, know that she's not going to drop blossom. She's going to keep producing. Recommended for gardeners and market growers in hot, humid, rainy growing regions where it is difficult to grow tomatoes. 4-ounce red fruits in clusters of 2 to 4 on short vines. So I feel like this would be also easier just to grow. Just a red tomato. But let's talk about the ones I will be starting today. This is the Reverend Morrow's Long Keeper. Guys, I'm excited for this one. I have, I think, 2 long keepers. This is, that's not what I wanted to say. I'm trying these out, 1, because I want to see if they even taste good. And 2, I want to see if they actually do last longer. So this is 83 days determinate. Lots of 6 to 10 ounce reddish orange fruit with reddish pink flesh. This tomato's excellent storage quality earned its place in our garden. Stake plants for the highest quality fruit. Just a regular, like, looking tomato, but I'm like, if you're going to keep long and it's a decent size, like, this isn't super small tomatoes. Like, I feel like some of the long keepers are just cherry tomatoes. This is 6 to 10 ounces. So that's really good in size. 95% germination. The other one I wanted to talk about is the Alston Everlasting. So this is supposedly another long keep type of tomato. This one is a cherry tomato though, and it is 65 days, which is pretty quick. Vigorous plants with high yield, a smooth, blemish-free 1 ounce red fruits, a 2-bite cherry. Holds well off the plant, often still good 3 weeks after harvest. So if I harvest this, let's say I get the last harvest in like mid-August, apparently I could leave this on my counter and not even need to worry about doing something, saucing it, freezing it, whatever, until September. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. The other two I got purely for the gas that everybody likes to give them. And I mean that with my whole chest. Because this stuff better, and I mean this, slap with the gas that they get. This is the Brandywine Sudeth strain. The amount of gas this tomato gets, this better be the best thing I've ever put in my mouth. Ever. 74 days indeterminate. Heirloom popularized. Okay, so this is an heirloom, so I can save these. Prize for distinctly flavorful fruit, highly rated in our taste trials. Brandywine has achieved a national reputation as a flavor standard for tomatoes. And I mean this. People are taking this flavor so very seriously. Dark reddish pink 10 to 12 ounce fruits. Potato leaf blinds are not as disease resistant as other Brandywine strains, but we were impressed by how well it held up to 2013's cold, wet summer. Gourmet quality flavor. I better eat this and fall immediately in love. I'm just saying, the fruits are beautiful though. They look pretty in the picture. Let's wrap this up. The last one is the Rosella Purple. This one also got talked to high heaven as well. I really hope. I love this. Listen. So this is a dwarf tomato, but it's indeterminate. So it's dwarf indeterminate. 65 days. Similar to Cherokee Purple for great flavor and 6 to 10 ounce deep purple fruits, but on shorter plants suitable for container gardening. So like my 20-gallon grow bags. Productive 36-inch plants need some staking to keep upright and to prevent sun scald. Fruits have few seeds, rugose foliage. Listen, people have talked about the Rosella Purple, and I'm like, I hope I love this. This has almost 100% germination. It's 96%. That's crazy. So I am not overstarting this because I really only want 1 plant of just 1 to 2 plants of just about everything I'm going to start today. Anyway, I was talking for a minute. Whoo! I'm going to let y'all go. Let's talk about tomatoes down in the comment section, and dwarf tomatoes and micro dwarfs to be exact, and determinate or dwarf, and all about these not atypical types of tomatoes. I'm very interested. How are your tomato starts going? Are you just going to buy some from the store, which is also, the greenhouse, which is also perfectly fine. Thank you so much for watching this video, and hopefully I see you in my next one. Bye bye.